Good morning, my brothers and sisters. Another day, another dog, but in this case, it's another day, another breath with pranayama. First, I want you to start an anahata mudra or anahata. I don't know how to say it correctly. I'm saying it both ways for many years. Anyway, you're going to fold your middle finger and ring finger into the palm, and then you're going to touch the index finger, the thumb, and the pinky pads together. See? While the third and fourth finger are turned into the palm and placed back to back next to each other. Here we go. Anahata. So opening the heart chakra, keeping the feeling nature open, which is both for joy and for compassion for the suffering, both within ourselves and other people and in life itself. So just tune into this for a little bit. Remember that part of the philosophy of yoga, the greater context in which the pranayama takes place, as we've already discussed in previous days, that pranayama lifts the veil that obscures you from seeing the light. And the idea of the veil is the separate personality, the asmita, the I sense, which then gets so lost in your own psychic nature, the ups and downs of your emotional entanglements, your various thought forms, and then especially the argumentative trains of thoughts that have you in ambivalence and confusion. And the whole idea is to transcend that by realizing that so much of your attention is so absorbed by that that you can't pay attention to something else, which is what is the nature of consciousness in and of itself. And that leads you to the next Yoga Sutra, where they say once the light is seen and you've removed the veil, you're not so self-centered, then your mind is really fit for the concentration techniques, where the pratyahara means you're withdrawing the investment you have into things that are external. You'll come back to it later when you integrate and there's a balanced sense of your life. But for the practice purpose, it's to completely focus your attention inwardly on something else. And they say consciousness alone has the ability to reflect the unbounded source of life in its immaculate and radiant purity. So you got to witness this. If you're caught up in identification, or we should say misidentification, it doesn't happen. So the witness consciousness, the one that's just watching, is able to penetrate into subtler levels of our own being. And then at a certain point, strange as it may seem, even in the midst of the world, which they sometimes call samsara, the world, the whirlwind or the whirlpool or the ongoing struggle, right? The wheel of life, up and down, up and down. As Joseph Campbell says, you're only one place on the wheel. You're either on the way down, you're on the way down, you're all the way down, you're on the way up, you're all the way up. The circle of life. But nonetheless, yoga says that behind it all, it's a play, it's a lila, it's a dance, it's a sport, it's a diversion, it's an amusement. It is the goddess, it is Shakti. That's her pastime. And so at a certain point, you have to start swinging with the whole thing. And that's why I think the word light is in the middle of enlightenment, because you get more like a sunny disposition when you get this. Doesn't mean you still won't be subject to the other shocks that human beings are heir to, but your attitude is very different. So, and as I've said many, many times before, the thing about pranayama that really got me is that once you establish a pranayama practice, prashtittam, once it's established, nobody needs to get behind and push you anymore. There's no imposition of discipline from external sources. You don't do it because you should do it. You don't do it because you heard it was good for you, because you don't want to disappoint your teacher or your own. No. Now something is happening from within. The zeal is lit. And then you realize the implications is once you have learned to initially struggle to cultivate the yogic life by self-discipline and study, you now find that your efforts are transformed into a natural zeal to proceed in your spiritual practice. And that's what we're about today. So, goes without saying that we have to develop good posture, good biomechanical technique for sitting, and also for manipulating the breath. But we do it all with an attitude of peace. So set yourself into rest and restore mode, and let's get today's practice going. We're going to be doing Ujjayi, Surya Vedana, and Anuloma, but today we'll be adding the partially closed nostril technique after a few continuous cycles of open nostril, which I'll guide you through. So take your stance, your sit, Open up, take a few slow, deep breaths, close your eyes. Really important to move within and see everything from a kind of microscopic view. Slow down, so things that you might not normally see because of the speed of your movement are going to become crystal clear. And now tuck the chin to Jalandhara Bandha, lifting the chest at the same time. Make sure the outer collarbones are nice and wide so the wings are not up. Trapezius muscles pulling down. Close the eyes and breathe a bit. All right, on our next exhale, navel move to the spine, and let's begin with a few cycles of Ujjayi breathing. Long, slow, soft, silent inhale. Long, slow, soft, silent exhale. Create a samavriti, or same wave, same frequency, same ratio. Inhale the same amount of time. Exhale the same amount of time. Inhale the same volume of breath. Exhale the same volume of breath. Listen to the sound. Noiseless passage would be best. All right, so now we're going to raise our hand, and every inhale we're going to widen the nostrils. And every exhale we're going to pull the nostrils narrow, parallel to the septum, and exhale. Now work that for the next minute. Wide nostril inhale. And narrowed nostril exhale. Continue at that pace. Now remember to always watch your posture. If you're doing the pose with a certain degree of rajasic, sattvic quality, enough energy to make it vibrant, but not too much that you're restless, pushing yourself. And sattvic means at the same time it has to be like asana, stable and smooth, agreeable. If you're lifting the front of the chest and dropping the trapezius muscles down, pay attention to the broad area in the back of your body where your kidneys meet, the dorsal lumbar, T12, L1. Let that area widen to the sides, the back body, widen to the sides there. That's the fulcrum of where the tension will be if your posture, sitting posture is correct and not dull. All right, so now we're going to switch into inhale through the left nostril. Block the left, open right, exhale. Sorry, I skipped a beat there. Now we're going to do inhale, open both nostrils, and then narrow both nostrils as you exhale. Sorry, do that again. Inhale, open both nostrils. Exhale, narrow both nostrils. All right, now block the right, open the left, inhale. Block the left, open the right, exhale. Continue at your own pace. So we're working with continuous cycles in this lunar series. Beginners, again, if it's challenging to you in any way, just do open nostril inhale. Do a few restorative breaths in between the cycles if you need to. So notice that when you're breathing, the movement in general is from the bottom up toward the top. That it goes from Apanavayu to Samanavayu to, then they call it Udanavayu, Vyanavayu, and then Pranavayu hits the skull, and it reverses in the opposite direction. Make sure that the breath comes in such a way that there's no bronchospasm, but bronchodilation. You shouldn't feel any choking or narrowing, but a widening, expanding, softening, and an ease as you're doing it. All right, now, without breaking stride, you're going to inhale through the open left nostril, but when you block it, you narrow the right nostril instead of opening it, and exhale through the narrowed right nostril. And you Continue that pattern of inhaling through the open left nostril and then exhaling through the partially closed right nostril. Continue that way for another minute. Pay attention to where your eyes are. Even though the eyes are closed, drishti is important. If your eyes are moving around or fluttering, that'll make you restless. So right now we usually say turn your eyes downward as if you're peering into your lungs and you had stereoscopic vision. Right eye watching right lung, left eye watching left lung. Even the quality of your own upper arms. The bicep of the upper biceps rolls outward and the back bicep turns outside in. So that keeps the chest expanded. Even the arm that's raised, inner upper bicep, roll out, outer bicep, roll outside in. Eventually you have to understand it's a misnomer to think that you can make yourself meditate. Dhyana, it's the one thing you simply can't do, but you can set up the conditions where the likelihood of it happening is much, much greater, which is why we say learn to relax, learn to have a posture that's comfortable, learn to move the breath smoothly without aggression. All those things set the stage for the insight, but you can't make the insight happen just by doing those things. Those things just create the right condition. All right, so now we're going to finish off with the last part, which is Aloma. Take a restorative breath if you feel you need, otherwise keep on going with a smooth flow. And now we're going to do open both nostril inhale, block left, open right nostril exhale, open both nostrils inhale, block right, open left nostril exhale. At your own pace, continue to work that. Really important, I hope you understand, just as an asana, you do variations, because variations cause you to pay attention. Creates the opportunity for you to learn something new that you've never experienced before. So it prevents you from getting bored in the repetition of doing a discipline every day. And of course, from my teacher's point of view, it's not just daily, weekly, monthly, or even yearly. It's decades of practice. Start now. You want it? That's what they say you got to do. All right, continue to do open nostril inhale, exhale through the open right nostril, both nostrils inhale, exhale through the open left nostril. Get that down and get ready to move towards the final technique. All we're going to do now is add the partially closed nostril technique. So then we inhale through both nostrils, open. Then we block the left, we partially close the right and exhale. And we open both again and inhale. We block the right and partially close the left and exhale. That's your template, and you're on your own. Open both nostril inhale, and then alternate nostril exhale with partially closed technique. All the partially closed techniques are going to slow the breath down, and that we're doing it on the exhale means that we're going to have that calmness in the nervous system, the tranquility, the equanimity, all those peaceful attributes just from manipulating the breath and seeing how it affects your nervous system. Right? It inhibits the active nervous system and it arouses the calm and tranquil nervous system. All right, so we're going to finish off one more round of inhaling both nostrils, exhaling through the opposite partially closed nostril. And then the final inhale through both nostrils, exhale through the opposite nostril, partially closed. And then you're going to drop the hand, take a few restorative breaths. Get an internal sense of what's going on. Keeping the eyes closed, you're going to raise your head up on your spine. When you open your eyes, have a diffused gaze. And there we are. All right. Enjoy. We'll be back tomorrow for the last part of the lunar sequence using the held breath after the exhalation, the Biokumbhaka technique. All right. Have a great day.